we try to reintroduce physical activity, physical education, and give it another status that it has some very, very often. Turning now to people in general, just a few figures more. Okay, at the time. According to our new Eurobarometer Health and Food Survey published in November 2006, only 50% of Europeans have sport regularly. And most of them spend an average of 6 hours seated in their life. More, and also between two Eurobarometers about sport and physical activity conducted in 2002 and 2007, the number of citizens declaring having very little or no physical activity at all has grown from 46% to 77%. Nevertheless, physical activity varies considerably from country to one another. It's a bit surprising, as it has been shown yesterday, to consider that people in Southern Europe are generally less active than people in Northern Europe, despite much better weather conditions in the south. So I think it's a cultural issue, and we have to cope with it. And that will turn to my second point, question about how to introduce physical activity in people's daily life, as it doesn't seem so easy to do. We've seen yesterday that a good opportunity would be to recreate favorable environment in order to compensate this long-lasting tendency. But I think it would be probably not enough, because when you have already a sport infrastructure created, it's not a sufficient reason to bring people in, you know. And it's not the case here in Copenhagen, it's not the case in Denmark in general. But in southern countries where I come from, I think there is no reason for people to spontaneously ask for walking paths and cycling lanes, because you know, these countries are already poorly equipped, and there is no habit to use it. So you have to try to change the cultural mind towards physical activity, which is quite a difficult task. Nevertheless, in this consideration, if you want to make some change, I think you need a real political commitment and also the support of local authorities and the help of association. It's a war, you know. You just can't act on one strike. This change of mindset may be facilitated by realities we are now facing, and which give us more motivation and more reason to act. We know all them, but I think also more and more people are aware of them. First, global warming and the threat on climate change. Second, the dwindling of fossil energy resources, such as gas and petrol. And third, the help for better life conditions in the cities. These factors, I think, should help to change daily behavior. Now, I would insist a little bit more on the links between physical activity and citizenship. Maybe 5 points very quickly. We already saw yesterday that physical activity maintains people fitness, prevent obesity, and diminish expenditure on health. I will pass very quickly. We know also that alternative way of travel, walking, cycling, do not produce any carbon emission, and so they are positive for the planet, and they contribute also to pacify the city. We know, third point, that physical activity gets people in touch more easily and help them to establish confident relationships. I will insist a bit more on my fourth point. Sport and physical activity are very important for young people in terms of socialization, in terms of learning the common rules, and in terms of acquiring the notion of civic responsibility and the taste of effort. These activities also enable them to acquire skills that would be useful all along their life, especially when they will become aging. And finally, I think the rise of the number of individuals feeling personally, physically, and mentally good as a beneficial result on the society in general. Let me now turn to some good practice in France, very quickly. Some cities, especially big cities, have already made important efforts in order to improve to set cycling lanes, public footpaths, and so on, like Paris, Lyon, Strasbourg, Bordeaux. In some cities, they have decided to offer incentives to people who buy this bicycle. In La Rochelle, for example, that's the case of Clermont-Ferrand. In La Rochelle, in an engineer school, they decided just to give freely a bicycle to the students in order to incent them to change the way of moving in the city. That's a good example, and I will be very quick on that. There are also not so good examples, and Marseille, which is the largest town in France in size, and the second one regarding population after Paris, offers at hardly 50 kilometers of cycle paths, which is quite ridiculous compared to 400 kilometers in Lyon, for example, and in Strasbourg, which are the smaller cities. There are persistent traffic jam, and the pollution is dominating, and it's quite a nightmare to use bicycle in Marseille, because nothing is fitted for it. You have to go to the lane for the tramway if you want to feel a bit secure. It's just not reasonable. So at the moment, Marseille doesn't offer the condition of sustainable and economical mobility, and is lagging far behind. There is still a hope, because maybe the fact that Marseille will be the European capital of culture in 2013, and some areas, historical areas, sectors like Le Vieux-Port, should be transformed into a semi-pedestrian area. When, I don't know, will they be ready in 2013? I don't know. But there is an aim, and there is an objective. Now, my conclusion. We all agree that sport and physical activity for all are, or at least should be, a shared value. It is a duty of governments and local authority, with the help of associations, to support them and to encourage citizens to practice as regularly as possible. And in this consideration, I think Thousand France has a lot to do, and that we hope they will try and they will arrive. Thank you for your attention.